In Genesis 4, we read about Adam and Eve's sons, Cain and Abel. Cain, the older brother, was a farmer who worked the land, while Abel was a shepherd who tended flocks. When the time came to present offerings to God, each brother brought something different. Abel offered the best portions from his flock, the firstborn animals and their fat portions, while Cain presented some produce from his crops. God accepted Abel's offering, which reflected a heart of faith and reverence, but he rejected Cain's, suggesting it lacked a genuine attitude of worship. This rejection filled Cain with anger and resentment. Although his frustration was directed toward God, Cain instead turned it toward his brother Abel. Observing Cain's reaction, God intervened, warning him about the dangerous path he was on. "If you do well, will you not be accepted?" God asked, encouraging Cain to correct his actions. God further warned that sin is crouching at the door, lying in wait to control him, but that he must choose to overcome it and master his emotions. Through this, God provided Cain with an opportunity to avoid further sin and reminded him of his responsibility to make the right choice. Despite God's warning, Cain refused to listen. His bitterness grew, and his jealousy and anger festered. Eventually, he invited Abel into the field, where he killed him, committing the first act of murder in biblical history. When God confronted Cain afterward and asked, "Where is Abel, your brother?" Cain's dismissive and defiant response, "Am I my brother's keeper?" revealed the extent of his hardened heart. Not only did he deny responsibility for Abel's well-being, but he also seemed unwilling to acknowledge the gravity of his actions. In response, God pronounced a punishment on Cain. The ground that had once yielded crops for him would no longer do so, and Cain was condemned to become a restless wanderer on the earth. Stricken with fear, Cain expressed concern about being vulnerable to others who might seek revenge. Yet, even in judgment, God showed mercy by placing a mark on Cain to protect him, ensuring that no one would kill him in retaliation. The story of Cain and Abel illustrated valuable lessons about the nature of sin and the importance of a sincere heart in worship. Abel's offering, given in faith, reflected genuine devotion, while Cain's offering revealed a lack of heartfelt faith, which sparked deadly jealousy. Cain's refusal to heed God's warning served as a reminder of how unchecked emotions like envy and anger could lead to destructive outcomes. Even as God enacted justice, he demonstrated mercy by marking Cain to protect him, showcasing his desire for redemption alongside his commitment to justice. This tragic episode underscored the enduring human struggle with sin and the consequences of unchecked anger and jealousy. It set the tone for the broader theme of humanity's conflict between good and evil, reminding readers of the importance of listening to God's guidance and taking responsibility for their actions. Applications. Abel's approach to God challenges us to examine our own worship. Are we offering God our best, motivated by faith and love, or merely going through the motions? True worship invites us to engage with God from a place of gratitude and commitment. Another application is in managing our emotions. Cain's story is a warning about the consequences of allowing resentment and jealousy to fester. Just as Cain was advised to master his emotions, we too must actively guard against bitterness, learning to forgive and let go before it leads us to destructive choices. This story also emphasizes the value of personal responsibility. In difficult situations, it's easy to shift blame or avoid accountability, but God calls us to face our actions honestly and seek to make amends where possible. We are reminded of the mercy of God, who protects Cain even after his wrongdoing. This serves as a call to embody compassion ourselves, forgiving those who wrong us and showing mercy, even when justice seems warranted. Through this story, we're encouraged to worship sincerely, control our emotions, take responsibility for our choices, and extend mercy to others, reflecting God's character in our lives.